So in this complete tutorial, I'm going to walk you through step by step, showing you how to run and operate Google Ads. Now, whether you are a complete beginner or maybe you've already run ads on different platforms, this video is going to be all-inclusive for anyone and everyone looking to run ads through Google's services. And I know this can look somewhat intimidating at first. I know certainly when I first started running ads, I actually had to watch similar tutorials to this one, and it really helped jumpstart the process. It ended up saving me thousands of dollars because I was able to, learn things that maybe would take much longer if you try to do it on your own. So the goal here for this video is to teach you every step of the process, get you running your first Google ad. Then we'll talk about different types of conversion rates. We'll talk about target conversion rates. We're going to talk about the ad styles that Google has. And then we'll also talk about keywords. How do we do keyword research? How do we find the right keywords to target? And then how do we set up more ads after that so that we can do split testing, A/B testing. Don't worry if I'm just kind of speaking like some different words that you don't know. Don't worry. We'll explain all of those later on throughout this video. And if at any point you feel like I'm talking too fast, you can always go back, rewatch it, or just slow it down to 0.75 speed. I know sometimes I get a little bit excited. I love doing this, and so I talk a little bit fast by accident. So let's go ahead. Let's get started with this video. And so the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to go to ads.google.com. I have my computer right here, and I'm going to walk you through every step of the process. Now, once you're on ads.google.com, you can go over and sign into your Google account. I'm assuming that you already have a Google account. If you don't, you can just make a Gmail very quickly. And if you want to follow along throughout this video, I would suggest that, but you can certainly just watch this and then go ahead and try to replicate this and make your own Google ads after this tutorial. Maybe consider taking out a pen, taking out a piece of paper, writing a few things down just so that you don't forget them. So let's go ahead, let's sign into our Google account, and then we're going to jump into this process. So we're going to go ahead and sign in right here. All right, and we're going to create a new Google Ads account. I'm assuming you probably don't have one now, so we can just click on New Google Ads Account. And now we're going to be prompted with this interesting thing that Google's been doing in the past couple of years, where they now try to kind of like throw you through this gauntlet of like different questions, and they try to set you up to make your own ad because they know that their ad platform is a little bit confusing. That's probably why you ended up on this tutorial, because maybe you looked at it and said, this is a little bit confusing. And so instead of doing all of this and going through what Google wants us to do, we're going to scroll down and we're going to find switch to expert mode right here. And the reason why we're doing this is because if you go through Google's little thing that they want you to go through, I find that people end up spending more money because Google, they make money when you run ads on their platform. So they're going to convince you to spend more money than you have to. I would suggest just switching to expert mode so that you can skip most of that and just get started running ads. And don't worry, I'll show you every step of the process here. So let's go ahead, let's click on switch to expert mode. And once we do that, we're going to see a variety of different options for what type of ads we want to run and what we're really going for, right? And so typically I end up just clicking on website traffic. You could certainly, if you are looking for just leads and you're looking for someone's phone number perhaps, or you're looking for someone's email, and maybe you're a real estate agent or you are a plumber, then maybe you want to go for leads. You can go for sales, website traffic, right? Product and brand consideration. You can go for local store visits and promotions, app promotion, brand awareness and reach, which is like a just very general thing. I personally would suggest going for website traffic. We run almost all of our campaigns just as website traffic, get them to our site, maybe it's to a specific landing page, conversion page. It gives us more leeway and it gives us more options overall when we choose website traffic. But you can certainly read the different type of campaign types, which we'll talk about each one of these, like search, display, shopping, video, discovery, right? If we're going for leads, you're going to see they have some different options there, right? If you're going for brand awareness, you have display and you have video. App promotion, your campaign type is app, right? So you want to look at the campaign types and what type of ad you want to run. We're going to click on website traffic here. Now, this is when we get into selecting a campaign type. This is going to be a very important part of the video, okay? Because you want to understand each one of these different types of advertisements because this is going to significantly affect your campaign and the way that you're running ads. So the first one that we have and the one that we typically choose is going to be Google search ads. These are the basic Google search ads, you've probably seen so many of these. It's probably what you think of when you think of Google ads. Just to show you here, let's say that I'm going to be marketing my marketing agency, right? And so if you wanted an example of this search ad, we could say marketing agency New York, right? And when we do this, we're going to see these three right up here at the top. These are all basic Google search ads. This is the first option here, right? So search ads right here. These are going to be the ones right here. We just see the basic text, right? And it comes up when somebody searches in Google, your ad will come up in one of these three. Sometimes there's four, sometimes there's two. It depends. But those are the basic Google search ads. The reason why I like search ads is because it's going to give you exactly what you want for people who are searching for something very specific. So when somebody searches marketing agency New York, I know that I can come up in that specific spot versus a display ad, which might pop up across the web, right? So maybe you're reading a blog, or maybe you are on some news website and you see an ad that pops up on the side. That's typically what is known as a display ad. Typically, there's going to be some pictures. There's going to be like this box that you can click on. Sometimes people call these banner ads as well. That's not something that I really do too much of because we like to focus on search. And then what we like to do is branch out into these other types of ads. And this is what I would suggest doing as well for people who are getting started with Google Ads. Start with search, then you can branch out into the others once you nail down search. If you don't want to do that, then I would suggest nailing down at least one of these, like maybe you want to focus just on display. Nail that down first. Get that down to a science first, and then you can branch into the other ones. Don't try to manage all of these different types of ads at the same time in the first week. Just trust me on that. You want to start with one and then branch out. Then we have shopping ads. And so because we're trying to get website traffic, you're not going to see this one available to us right here at the moment. But shopping ads, this is also something that, for example, let's say that we wanted to go for some organic protein powder, right? And if we want to get organic protein powder and we go to the shopping tab on Google, then you're going to see that some of these are going to be ads, right? And so some of these are going to be advertisements mixed in here. See right here, these are all ads. And so if you're selling a physical product and you want to run shopping ads through Google, you can certainly do that. And you can have your product pop up here at the top. And that's certainly something that is very feasible and very doable for a lot of people. So let's go ahead and let's go back to here. We see our search ads, display ads, shopping ads, video ads as well, right? If you want to reach people on YouTube. I can tell you this, YouTube ads are getting very expensive. I would know this because we have like 8 or 9 different YouTube channels and we see the certain conversion rates and we see the certain ad rates across some of those platforms. YouTube ads are getting a little bit expensive. You can still do them. Obviously, there's more work involved with that. You have to make a video. You can't just do some basic search content. You have to actually make a video to run an ad with, and that does take quite a bit more effort. So it's probably not something somebody's going to want to do right off the bat. But of course, you can run YouTube ads or other video ads through Google Ads. And then of course we have discovery as well. This is for if you're looking for just like general, you're trying to get it out there. You can even advertise on Gmail and other areas as well. So they have some pretty cool integrations that we can use. Now I'm going to click on search. That's what we're starting with today. And once we do that, then we can fill in our business's website. Now, don't worry if you don't have a website up and running right now at the moment. That's okay. You can fill in something else, or you can just still follow along here because there's going to be some pretty important pointers that we're going to be including in the next couple of minutes here. And so let's go ahead, let's fill in our business's website. For this example, for this Google Ads example, we're just going to use one of our websites for this channel, which is Central Media, and we actually do quite a bit of marketing for companies. So let's say that we want to market our marketing agency, right? And so I'm going to go ahead, fill in my website, and then we can click on continue. And so you can start tracking your website traffic as website conversions. You don't have to do this right now. You can skip over this for now. We can circle back to this. Let's go ahead. Let's click on continue because we're going to talk about the most important parts. Up here, you can see that we're on step 1 of 4, right? So we're on selecting our campaign settings. Then we have to set up our ad groups. Then we're going to create the ads. We're going to find keywords that we can use to target certain things. And then we're going to have to put in our billing information and decide how much we're willing to spend on these new campaigns. So for our campaign name, let's call this, let's say website marketing campaign, or just website marketing ads number 1, right? So this is going to be our first campaign. And then for networks, I don't really want to do display network right now. I know that they're going to try to get me into this, but I don't have anything that I want in display network right now. This doesn't have to be an actual like picture or banner. It can still be just words, but I really want to target specifically just search. I don't want other things, like if somebody's on some random website and I'm popping up on there, I want to focus just on search and specific terms that people are searching for so that I can avoid people accidentally clicking on my ads if they're on some random website and they accidentally, the mouse goes over, they click on it, suddenly that costs me money. So now let's talk about targeting and audience segments. This is very crucial, and you have to understand a couple of things in regards to running ads and marketing. You'll know that as you go more specific, as you whittle things down, if you say that you want to target one specific city or one specific state or one area, it's generally going to cost you more money than it would to target just broad, overall, everyone in the world. And so you're going to notice this, and you want to really, really take this into consideration. You want to think about the product that you're selling or the service that you're selling or whatever you're advertising for. What is most important to you in terms of market? Can you go broad? Is it okay for you to go broad? Because if you can, you might end up paying lower per click or per conversion as what you would otherwise. So for example, if I'm selling a physical product, let's say that I'm selling organic protein. Well, sure, you know, I can probably sell it to everyone in the US and probably Canada, but I don't know if I want to go all countries and territories because shipping costs can be really expensive. If I have to ship something over to Australia or I'm shipping to South Africa somewhere, then it might end up costing me a lot of money and it might not be worth it. Or maybe I just don't want to target those customers because in certain areas, maybe it might not be as affordable to other people, right? And so you want to think about that when you are targeting ads and when you're thinking about where you're going to be running ads. For me, for let's say our marketing agency, I don't want to be targeting everybody in the United States for my marketing agency because we're primarily based in the Northeast. And so instead of just saying that I want to target the United States, I'm going to go ahead and click on enter another location. And for this, I'm going to say I want to target, let's say that I want to target New York, right? And then I can decide between New York State, New York City. It shows you the potential amount of people in that area and in that region. Let's say that I want to target all of New York State. So I'm going to click on target. And let's say that I want to add to it as well. And maybe I want to target people in Connecticut for my marketing agency. So there's another 4.6 million people that I can get from that. So I'm going to click on target. We can also exclude if we don't want anybody. So let's say I want to target people from Connecticut, but for some reason, let's say that I don't want to target people in let's say New Jersey, right? Because maybe there's something important there where I can't do business in New Jersey. I'm just making this up here. Of course I can do business in New Jersey, but let's say that I want to exclude New Jersey. So I can go ahead, exclude that, because maybe it's really important that you don't get involved with that for some reason. I know people who maybe are tow truck drivers and they can only do business in one state. They don't have a license in another state, so they can't do it, right? So there's a lot of reasons why you might want to exclude or include certain areas. But you're going to know that as you get more specific, the price goes up, right? So if you target only men or only women, or if you're targeting people who are only over the age of 40 or only between ages 24 and 36, all of those specific things, they're going to end up driving up your prices and how much it's costing you for your ads. So just please be aware of that. So let's go ahead And let's continue on to languages. Obviously, this is pretty important. I mean, you don't want to be targeting languages that maybe there's a big language barrier, but for this, let's say we're just going to stick with English. I mean, if we wanted to open up the market even more, we could probably include Spanish. We could probably include some other languages that are highly common in that area that we're targeting. Another cool thing, though, that I've noticed is that sometimes certain languages are under-targeted and underserved. And so you can end up actually getting some highly converting ads with low competition if, say, that you are running an ad in New York for a language that's not very common, and you might not have a lot of competition for that. So just an interesting thought there. So let's go ahead. Let's continue on down to budget. We also have audience segments right here. You don't really need to worry about this right now. So let's go ahead and let's look at our budget. Now, when we talk about budget for running Google Ads, you want to think about a couple of things. One of them is that you don't have to have the most beautiful, perfect, best converting ad on the first day, okay? You have to understand that with marketing with Google Ads, it's going to take time, and any great marketer knows this, that you're not going to have the best ad on day one. It takes time, and what you have to do is you do something called split testing or A/B testing, and over time you test different ads, right? So maybe you try 3 different ads today, and you try them, you see which one works best, then you start to tweak it, and you run a variation of that against the original one, and then you do that again and again and again until maybe every time you're tweaking ads, you're changing ads, they're getting 10% better, to the point where eventually, after months, you end up having the perfect ad, or at least maybe after weeks, you end up having the perfect ad. So this is what every marketer does. Every good marketer will do this. They'll tweak, and they will do these A/B tests. So how does this pertain to budgeting? Well, you don't want to blow all of your money right away, okay? So I suggest starting with a pretty small amount of money. Look at your overall budget and say if you have a $10,000 budget for running ads, then I would suggest for the first week, maybe starting really small with like a couple $100. And maybe your budget's smaller. Maybe you only have $500 to run on ads, then start with, $20, $30. But this is going to be your daily budget. So let's say for my daily budget for my marketing agency, I'm willing to spend $40 per day. This would run to about $1,200 per month. And so, this could be a little bit expensive for some people, but we're assuming that we're going to be able to get quite a few clients, and that will end up paying for this cost of $40 per day. All right, and then we also want to look at how we're doing bidding with ads, right? So what do we want to focus on when we are running ads on Google? Do we want to focus on clicks? So we want to just get the most clicks as possible for our website to get them there. We can also go for other things like conversions, conversion value, impressions. Let's stick with clicks for now. That's typically what most people are going to go for. You can also set a maximum cost per click bid limit. And so you need to understand, and this is not really for this video because this is more like general marketing. You need to understand how much you're willing to pay per new customer. And so if you have a marketing agency and you say, for every new marketing client, I'm willing to spend $100 to get that new client because that client's worth $1,000 to me, or whatever it might be, right? Or you're selling organic protein and you say, for every new customer, I'm willing to spend $10 to get that customer. I don't know what your numbers are going to be, but make sure you figure those out before you start running ads so that you know if it's worth it or not for you to continue to run ads. So we can set a maximum cost per click bid limit. You don't want to set this too low because you might not end up getting any clicks. But for me, for my marketing company, I don't want to be spending more than, say, $8 per click, which is really high, probably won't even get to there. But it's just to make sure that I don't end up losing all of my money very quickly. And this is also why we recommend having a low budget for the first week or so, just in case something goes wrong. You end up spending all of your money and not getting any conversions. So we're going to just set that for $8 for now, but I think we'll be able to get them a lot lower than that. All right, so we're scrolling down here, and there's a couple more things. We can do ad extensions. So, for example, call extensions, we can add a phone number to our ad. This could be really good, especially if you are a local business, like you're a plumber or a marketing agency, or a doctor, a lawyer, right? You can just put your phone number right there on your advertisement. We found that this is really helpful with conversions. They say get up to 15% higher click-through rate. I found it to be a lot better than that. And sometimes people don't even click on your ad. They just call. They see see your number, they call, and you don't even actually have to pay Google for that. So a little hack there for you. So let's go ahead and let's click on save and continue. You can add in your phone number, you can add these other things, you can explore them, or you can circle back to them later. So let's click on save and continue. And we're still on step number 1 of 4, but we're moving on to step number 2 here, which is setting up your ad groups. So this is the fun part. To some people, maybe it's not fun, but to me, it's pretty fun. This is where we are finding our keywords. We're deciding what words do we want to target. When people search on Google for marketing agency, what's going to show up, right? And are we going to show up for marketing agency? Do we want to show up only when people say marketing agency New York? Do we want to show up when people say I need help with marketing, right? So we can decide when we're popping up in Google search based off of what people are searching for. So this is our ad group number 1. We can set up multiple ad groups. What Google has done here in this case is they already filled these out for us. We're going to go ahead, delete these. This is because they looked at our website, santralmedia.com, and they just said, oh, this is probably what they are looking to run ads on and what keywords are targeting. I'm going to delete those, and we're going to start to fill these out on our own. So here's really important right here. Down here, you'll see these 3 different options for how we type in our words, right? So we have just our generic keyword, which is a broad match. So for example, if I do, say, marketing agency, New York, right? So now, if somebody searches anything remotely related to marketing agency New York, my ad might show up when somebody searches this in Google. It's a very broad keyword match, and so they could type in different variations and my ad might still show up. They could type in something like maybe ad agency New York, or maybe they type in marketing agency Manhattan, and my ad might still pop up because it is a broad match to this keyword. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If we use quotation marks and we say the same thing, right? Marketing agency New York. What's cool about this, now that we put it in quotations, this tells Google Ads that we only want our ad popping up if we have this phrase match, okay? So it has to be a phrase match rather than just like a broad overall similarity thing, right? So for a phrase match, somebody has to type in either marketing agency New York, or maybe they type in New York marketing agency, or maybe they type in agency marketing New York, right? But they're still using those words that are within those quotations. So we have the potential to show up with our ad when somebody types that in. So it's a little bit more specific. It helps us avoid those really broad ones. I tend to like to get more specific. Now, there's one more that we have here, and this is using brackets, okay? So I'll go ahead, look down here. With brackets, it's the exact match. So this would be, right, marketing agency New York with brackets around it. What's best about this, and the reason why I like going and using brackets for almost every time that I use Google search ads, is somebody has to type this in exactly how it appears right here. They have to type in marketing agency New York. And only then will my ad display. Only then will my ad have the potential to show up. This helps me because it ends up saving me money because I have more predictability. Because if you go for a broad overall match and you don't put brackets around these ads, you might end up having somebody searching for something totally different than what you're actually targeting. You know, instead of you know, let's say, for example, somebody could type in how to start a marketing agency in New York, and your ad could show up. You don't want that because suddenly you end up having competition, right? But your ad might still show up if it's a very broad term and you don't have any quotations or you don't have any brackets around it. So that's why I like using brackets. You can target more specific people. So let's go ahead. Let's fill some of these out here. There's a number of ways to find new keywords for running ads. There's something called keywords.io. I know Neil Patel has something, I think it's Ubersuggest that he has, that's really helpful for finding keywords. You can also just go ahead and do a Google search for keyword finder, right? Best keywords for running ads. You can just search that on Google and you can find a couple of different tools. Google also has one. I'm going to show you how to use that and find new keywords in just a minute here. But let's go ahead and let's find a couple more terms that we can use here, right? So instead of marketing agency, maybe we want to do ad agency, right? Ad agency NYC, right? And we can just start to put in a bunch of these. I would suggest starting kind of as broad as possible. If you're using these brackets, you want to make sure that you're getting enough search terms. Like, let's say that there's only 10 searches per day for ad agency New York City, right? That's not going to be very good for you because you're not going to get too many searches overall from that. So we have to fill out a couple more, right? So marketing NYC, and let's say maybe we want to target a couple more, like marketing agency Brooklyn, and maybe let's put some brackets around this, or let's put some quotation marks around this one, right? And so we can go ahead and just start testing some of these words out. They don't have to be the best ones of all time, like right on the spot. It's okay if you just fill some in now, go back and change them, tweak them, and find better keywords that you can target. All right, so we filled in a bunch of terms here, and let's go ahead. We can create a new ad group if you want. You want to start testing things right away. We're going to stick with one ad group for now, though, today. We're going to go click on Save and Continue. All right, so now we are on step number 3 of 4 here. We're actually creating our first advertisement with Google. And like we said earlier, this doesn't have to be the best ad of all time right off the bat. So you can just start by filling in some things that you think might work. And I would suggest doing a couple of different variations of these. So maybe make at least 2 or 3 and then run some tests on them and see which ones perform best and get the best conversions. So what Google has done is they already actually filled some of these in for us. So we're going to delete these because they just looked at our domain and they said, oh, this is what we think that they want for ads. We don't though, so I'm going to go ahead and delete all of these. Okay, so now let's start filling in the headline. So the first headline, let's say that we want it to just say something really basic, like maybe marketing agency NYC. And maybe on the second headline, we want something like 100% guarantee, right? 100% guarantee. So as we go through and we fill out the headline and then the description, you have to remember that sometimes you don't always have to reinvent the wheel when trying to run ads. So if you're running out of ideas of what words we can put in the headline, you can certainly go and look for inspiration from other ads and other companies. Now don't go and copy people. Please don't do that, and don't misconstrue the words that I'm saying here. But when I say this, what I mean is you can go ahead and let's say that you have a marketing agency in New York City, right? Well, it doesn't hurt to go and Google maybe marketing agency London, marketing agency Toronto, and see what ads are appearing there. You get some interesting ideas, maybe some different words or phrases that you didn't think to use before that you could potentially use, mix and match a little bit, but definitely don't copy. That's not very right to do. So if you want to do that, you can go and borrow different ideas a little bit for some inspiration. So let's just fill a couple more of these out here. Let's say that maybe for another headline, we want to do something like increase leads. And maybe for another line, maybe we want to say voted #1 agency or ad agency in Manhattan, right? Make sure you don't make this up. I mean, somebody has to vote you #1, right? This one goes over our 30-character limit, so can't use that. So we're going to have to actually just type in maybe NYC, not NYU, NYC. And, we can just stick with 4 headlines for now. Let's go ahead and let's go and add some of our descriptions here. So maybe we want to throw in some words like strategic, ad agency focused on driving growth. Maybe in another description, we can add in some other different words as well. Go ahead, spend some time thinking about this. I'm doing this off the cuff right here, so I don't have tons of different ideas I can just throw out there right now. But let's say that we want to do something like maybe double sales, whatever, right? So we can add in a couple other things if we want, but I'm just kind of skimming over this now to end up saving you a little bit of time. So once you figure that out, you can go ahead and click on Save and Continue. And now we want to confirm our payment info. And once we do this, we're actually going to end up in our Google Ads account. where it will get pretty interesting. And then I'm going to show you a couple more important features once we are actually inside of our ad account. So let's go ahead, let's fill out our payment info, and then we can continue on with this. All right, so we just submitted our payment info. Now our account is activated. Let's click on continue. And now we are going to explore our campaign. It says that they're going to review our campaign. Usually takes about an hour, so you might have to sit around a little bit, go for a walk, whatever it might be. And then once it's approved, we can edit our campaign and check on its progress. So let's go ahead, let's explore on our campaign. This is our Google Ads dashboard. This is what's going to pop up every time we come back into Google Ads. You can see our clicks, our impressions, our average cost per click, and then our cost overall that it has run for us. Here's our campaigns. We can view them. We can make more campaigns if we would like to. Here's our keywords. We can add more keywords right here in this dashboard. They just modified this whole new Google Ads dashboard. It's brand new. We made a tutorial about this last year and it looked totally different. So it should probably stick like this for a while. So here's our different keywords. We have negative keywords as well. So this is something really cool that if you want to say that you don't want anything popping up in certain things, we can put in negative keywords, right? So maybe I never want my ad to show up for something like, worst ad agency, right? Like worst ad agency NYC, right? Things like that. And I can go ahead and I can add this to my campaign, right? So we got to select a campaign, this campaign. Let's add it to it. Let's click on save. So now I can block this word. Basically, I won't show up for this word. And you can go and fill this out if you feel like you need to avoid certain things like this. So let's go back and click on our campaigns, or go back and click on Google Ads, the logo up here, to take us back to our dashboard. What I would suggest doing at this point, you've gotten this far, you can run your ads through this dashboard. What I would suggest doing is go ahead and create a couple of different ads and then try and test those. There's a lot of tweaking, there's a lot of testing that's going to be involved. It's not something that I can show you specifically in this video here right now because it's something that's going to take weeks. Maybe we can do an update on this and I'll show you how these ads are performing in a couple of weeks. If you would like to see that, let me know down in the comment section. We can do like a more in-depth one. But this should really get you started here. This should get you started with running your ads. I really hope you found some value in this. One other thing I want to show you though before we end this, really important, is you go up to Tools and Settings up here. You see it in the upper right corner. We click on Tools and Settings, and then we're going to have something called the Keyword Planner. And so the Keyword Planner, let's click on it. This is going to help us find new keywords, and it shows us basically how much people are paying or what the average cost for targeting specific keywords might be. So let's say that I want to discover new keywords. I can also get search volume and forecasts. Really cool, right? I want to know how many people are searching for marketing agency New York. I can get that information from Google because they want you to run more ads. They want to give you information like that. So let's say that I want to find new keywords though. I can click on discover new keywords and let's say marketing agency New York, right? And this is the one that I want to search for to find new keywords. Let's click on get results. And now it's going to show us different variations, things that maybe we didn't think about, keywords that we can end up targeting in our ads in the future. So this one here, it looks pretty popular. Digital marketing, we can scroll this over. Digital marketing agency New York, marketing agencies New York City, digital marketing agency New York City, right? And then what's really important is we look at the average bids. How much are people paying for these advertisements? And so we can see the low range and the high range for how much people are bidding to get people to click on their ads. And you can see that it's pretty expensive. I mean, this is New York City. It's probably gonna be cheaper in your area. And if, depending on the business that you're running, if you're running ads for your jewelry company or for your plumbing business, these rates are gonna be totally different based off of that. But for example, digital marketing agency NYC gets between 1,000 and 10,000 searches per month, has low competition according to Google, and the expenses for us, it's going to be anywhere between $6 and $19.43 per click, per person who's clicking on that. So that's really not too bad. It's nice to have this information, and we can add these right here by using the Keyword Planner. We can add them into our new ad group, right? We can make a new ad group, or we can add them into an existing ad group that we might already have. So this is why I love the keyword planner. I would suggest going around, looking around through this a little bit more. You can download these as well. You can look for different time frames when people are searching for these. Once you do that, that's just another great feature that you can have in there. So hopefully this video was of some value to you. Let me know your questions down below. You can always DM me on Instagram as well. I'll try to get back to you. I really do my best to get back to you. We've been getting flooded with messages lately though. So thanks for watching, and I'll see everybody at some point in the future. We have lots of more ad videos coming out for Facebook, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, a lot of videos like that. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Drop a like on the video if you haven't done so already, and I wish everyone the best of luck.